Hello and welcome to Rando Tech Info. So today we're talking about the best phones with a headphone jack in 2021. We are already almost 2/3 of the way through the year, and while the jack is starting to look like an endangered feature, there's still a surprising number of options out there if you still want to plug in. A few things to know before we get started. First, this list will only have phones that have been released in the past year. If you want to go back farther than that, then you should check out the best phones with the headphone jack 2020 and 2019 editions. I will include a link to both of those videos down in the description. You can also watch them by clicking on the little moving picture boxes at the end of this video. The second thing you need to know is that this list is mid-tier and flagship focused, and that is because a lot of budget-friendly phones that are still very good still include a headphone jack, so there really wasn't a need to include those phones in this list. Finally, it's important to know that not all of the phones mentioned on this list will work in all parts of the world, so make sure before you actually pull the trigger and purchase one of these bad boys that the phone will actually work on your cell carrier in your part of the world. Got it? Good. Let's get started. First things first, we should pay our respects to LG.
Okay, a moment of silence.
Nope.
One of the last smartphone manufacturers to take high quality audio and the jack seriously. The good news is the LG's last phone, the Wing, is also one of its best. It offers solid performance in cameras, a big bezel-less screen, and oh yeah, it has another 3.9-inch display under the main display that you can access through a bit of swivel action. The phone was a bit pricey upon its release in 2020, but you can pick up the phone now in good condition used for under $500, which actually I think is really compelling, especially considering it's the only phone of its kind. Now, with LG gone, our next greatest savior of the jack is probably Sony, and true to form in 2021, all of their Xperia phones are indeed jacked. This includes the Xperia 1 Mark III, the Xperia 5 Mark III, and the 10 Mark III. So if you want some sweet pro video and camera action to go along with your headphone jack across a variety of price points, Sony has you covered. Speaking of sweet cameras, no phone is going to take better pictures for the money than a Pixel 4a. The 4a offers flagship quality photos, solid performance, and stock Android to go along with its jack, all for $350. The 4a 5G is also a good value proposition. For $500, you get all the features of the regular 4a, but with 5G and a bigger screen. Sadly, this phone is no longer being sold by the Googs, but if you don't mind picking up some second-hand tech, this phone is still a really good option. Now, if you're the kind of person who values performance over camera quality, then a gaming phone might be your jam. Most gaming phones still include a jack, and the list this year includes the Black Shark 4 series, the Red Magic 6 series, and in a rare case of someone bringing back the jack, the ROG Phone 5 series has the headphone jack again after removing it from last year's model. All are great options for low audio latency gaming goodness, if you are into that kind of thing. Sticking with high performance, the next phone on the list is the Zenfone 8. Asus's latest flagship isn't fancy, but it's fairly priced and ideal for jack enthusiasts that want a flagship experience with a screen that isn't the size of a small baking sheet. It's worth noting that while the base Zenfone 8 has the jack, the lower spec 8 Flip does not. You have been warned. And speaking of warnings, I feel it's only fair to mention to you that if you don't sub to this channel, then you could miss more highly entertaining and useful content such as this in the future.
Ooh, that would be a shame.
Next up on the list, we have Realme. Realme phones are known for their strong value to performance ratios. The Realme 8 Pro continues this tradition by offering up a 6.4-inch AMOLED screen and a Snapdragon 720 chipset for under $400 to go along with its headphone jack. A good value for those not needing to live the 5G life just yet. Finally, we have two smartphone makers that get a lot of flack for dropping the jack off their flagship offerings, but what you might not know is that both of these makers still offer phones with jacks at more affordable options. The first is Samsung. Yes, they dropped the headphone jack on the S series a while back and more recently on the Note series, but the jack is alive and well on the A series of phones, and the A52 and A72 are some of the most solid mid-range phones in the market today. So if you are a fan of Samsung and headphone jacks, these phones are certainly worth a look. Last but not least, we have OnePlus. Yes, their current flagships are jackless, as is the Nord 2. This makes the Nord CE their highest-end jack device and the only real current OnePlus option if you don't want to go full budget phone. It does fit OnePlus's flagship killer roots quite nicely, offering solid specs and features for under 400 pounds. Well, that's all the useful information I have for one day. If there was a phone left off this list that you think should be there, please put that little nugget of information down in the comments so we can all learn from each other and make more informed buying decisions. As always, I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching, and until next time, this is Rando Tech Info, signing out.